So Ette Hotels came to us with this pretty cool project. It's basically a super high-end hotel that they're gonna do right out on 192, right in the heart of all the tourist attractions. So for this one, we've got 5 different signs that they're looking to do. We've got a monument sign, and then on the elevation here, we have a little blade sign that they're doing off to the side of the building, a large porte-cochere sign, and then also there's this massive parapet sign that we're doing up on the top, which requires a giant structure behind it. And then there's also one more sign on the end of the building over here. So it's a total of 5 between that and the monument, and it's gonna be a pretty large project for us. So this one is the parapet sign. This one is actually pretty crazy because it is a total of 33 feet long. It's a massive structure that's gonna go onto an existing steel structure that they already have built in there, because it's not allowed to touch the actual parapet of the roof. It has to float above it. But when you've got a 33-foot steel structure with 7-foot channel letters, that's gonna be quite an undertaking.
So what I'm doing today is I have a giant letter E for Ette Hotels, which is here in Orlando. And we always talk about doing channel letters, building channel letters. So I'm going to show you how they're made from start to finish. So on the router table, Dominic cuts this giant 1/8" back. It's 1/8" metal. And what I have here is 8-inch tall 063 aluminum. And that's what's going to become the outside of this letter. So this is a pan and box brake that we use for bending the sidewall. And this will give me the proper angle on the line that I drew of where the metal should bend. And this fits right where I want it to be. So now the next step is for me to make this radius. And that's not really something that you can just go ahead and do. It's all trial by error. Just bend and bend and bend until you achieve this radius. As I begin the radius, the metal pretty much will want to form around that. So that begins the radius. So I'm going to continue to bend it until this piece right here is absolutely relaxed and sits directly on top of here. So when I begin welding this, I'll get this tacked, then I'll be able to move these pieces, this piece right here, pretty easily because the metal's nice and thin. And I'll be able to follow this radius the entire way while I'm welding. So now I'm ready to begin welding this return, this 8-inch tall sidewall, to this backer to produce a letter. And as you can see, it's kind of hard to see just how much metal I've got sticking out right here for where I want to put it. So I have a piece of this purple sandpaper, which provides me with some contrast. And now I can get that piece of metal right there on the dead edge. So I'll have no metal showing over the edge, and it'll be the exact size that I was after. So now I've completed welding this middle piece, cut off the extra metal that I'm not going to use. Now I need to put metal around the outside of this letter. So I'm not going to roll this piece like I rolled this previous one. This one will be easy enough for me just to go ahead and roll it around as I go. I rolled this piece because it was such a small radius. It was easier to do it here. So even though I've been building channel letters and other signs for 30 years, there are machines that will bend this sidewall of this channel letter. It'll even bend some smaller ones. But with a sign this large, it's much easier for us to build it by hand because we have a lot of experience, and we've been doing it so long that it's much easier for us just to build it by hand.
This is the retainer for the same E that Steve is building right now. The retainer is what actually holds the acrylic onto the channel letter return. I'll bend 1.5 inch metal all the way around it and weld it to this face piece. These are a little tricky because of heat and warpage. You can't go as fast on these as you can go on the returns. The reason I jump so far ahead is because if I just keep going, you know, every 1.5 inches like I normally put them, this will heat up to the point that this will start to distort. You know, it's going to shrink towards the weld, so this piece is going to pull up. I mean, this is going to pull in too, but you're going to distort the entire thing this way. Then when you go to put it on the actual return, it's not going to sit flat.
But this is where two pieces of my sidewall come together, and rather than weld this seam together and cause a lot of damage on the thin metal for bodywork, we use 2-part epoxy. And this is how I glue these together. I use a piece of masking tape on the outside so that my glue doesn't run just right all over the other place. And I want to get these two pieces as tight as possible. So I pre-cut this piece to patch my seam on the back, in which I'm going to use 2-part epoxy. And this is more than sufficient to hold it. It will never come off. A couple clamps to hold it. This epoxy takes about 10 or 12 minutes to dry, and that seam will be totally flush on the outside.
So that's the retainer for the E.
So the glue has had time to dry. So pretty much because the glue seam is behind the tape, I want to see how good it looks. Oh, that's a nice tight seam. It just gets sanded and you won't even know it's there. The durability of this glue, it's permanent. It's made for metal, so it practically is impervious. Once it's painted, you never even know it's there, ever. And this seam on the back is nice and clean as well. After we complete the channel letters, we have to make an inside retainer for the face to sit on before we make the metal retainer. Otherwise, we set the face on the letter, it's going to fall right through the letter. So what we do is we use 1x1 angle, put it on the saw, and notch it all the way down the back wall. And that allows us to go right around a corner of any of the round letters. Whereas with a straight piece of angle, I couldn't do that. On the inside of this channel letter is where this notched metal goes. We glue this on the inside rim, both sides. Now when the plastic face sits on here, it can't fall through. So with this particular job, we have so much to do. I have everybody in the shop doing their portion. While I'm finishing up this letter, I have several other people in the shop working on the rest of it. I have another gentleman over here that's also welding letters. I have another gentleman on that side of the shop that's putting inside retainers in to hold the face. So I also have Artie and Greg working on letter sanding as well as the paint department painting.
Now that the fabrication department is done with the E, we painted it with a high reflective white inside of here, so when they put the lights in, it reflects the light better. And we put 2 coats of primer on it, 2 coats of paint, and 2 coats of clear, so it'll last longer out in the weather. So this is my E. Now they got to get lights on it, they got to put the face on it, and they got to install it, and they better not mess it up.
What Kyle's doing now is installing Hanley P3 LEDs. We're going to put 2 rows in this letter. On a larger letter, the width is bigger here as well as here. So we've opted to go with 3 rows of LEDs. Because the letter is about 10, 11 stories off the ground. Should see it for miles. Now that the letter has been welded, gone through paint, has LEDs inside, time for the acrylic face. And this is how the metal retainer will squeeze the face. Now after strategically placed hardware in certain places, that's how you build a channel letter.
So we're down here at Ette Hotel, down here in Kissimmee on 192, down by Disney World. And we're just here today, walking up these flights of stairs to check out this roof sign, make sure we got all of our framework measured properly.
Are we there yet? I have to rest. How many floors?
It's only like 6.
I hope there's only 6 because we're at 5 now.
They're getting ready to open this place up, hopefully within a month or so is what they're thinking, but we're here to measure this framework back here on the back of this building. So they've got this steel structure for one reason and one specific reason only, and that's to put the sign on top of this building. So the owners went into a great expense to get this to this point, and now we're gonna come in here and put this beautiful sign up and make this place real.
So this is the steel structure that's existing on the top of the building for our parapet sign. When we went out and did the survey, they were just actually welding everything in and getting it all situated. The funny part is Osceola County kind of changed along the way of what they were going to do as far as permitting and said that they weren't allowed to have this sign because there was no wall behind it. So what they ended up doing is actually building an entire steel structure behind on the roof that's just kind of a false portion of the building, so that technically it didn't break the roof line and they were able to get by in the coating.
99.5.
Oh yeah, it looks like these guys knew what they were doing.
99.5.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice, nice.
Now, what I want to see is how close we are to being level with that top.
The dude in the elevator said he would make sure he brought his parachute up and just push us off when we get up. I said, man, Rick would like that.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Ooh. Oh, okay, so we're okay if we...
We need to bring a level because we're going to have to be up, a couple inches off of this to stay off of here. But we're putting this platform out at least 3 inches off of here.
Gotcha.
Because we don't want it touching the membrane.
You want to do 3-inch square tube all the way down?
Yeah, and then go up from there. He's going up.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, that's how I said it's like 2 feet wide.
So we got to go out there?
Yeah. Yes.
Letters are going to be sitting out there. So when we come in, we bring this thing. Are we going to be installing from the front?
Yeah.
I think the whole sign's 33 feet, something like that, end in. So maybe it's an 8-foot section, 10-foot section, and we'll raise this up from the ground, swing it over here, and then we're mounting it to this, right? And then it's just going to cantilever out there.
Yeah, there's some more framework comes down and comes back to cantilever
to hold the weight of that, and then we attach into here as well.
Yes.
Do you see the Expedition Everest ride at Disney over there in the background? So that's how close we are to Disney. What is that, Rick? Maybe 2 miles? 3 miles?
I don't know. I'm going up.
Away? I don't know what that is over there, but that's more part of Disney. Nice. So the same size sign that's going up there is going here at the Porte Cochet entryway to the hotel, but it's going to be a stacked version. So to say Ette Hotel instead of lengthwise. So they put these steel beams in the building, once again, anticipating what sign they wanted up here.
See, there's our blade sign.
That thing looks tight. Yeah, that's beautiful. Man, look at that marble, huh? All right, so this sign here is an aluminum cabinet with LEDs inside. Those letters are 3/4 inch push through acrylic with black vinyl on the face. So the only thing that'll glow at night is the edge of those letters in white. And then the faces of that sign is 3 foot by 3 foot polished stainless steel cut and mounted to that sign. So it gives it that nice polished chrome look, which he loves so much. He wants us to change the monument sign out there to chrome as well, which we've already built, if you want to take a look at that one. We installed this, it's already passed its final inspection, everything's good to go. It lights up white at night as well. But after he saw the blade sign, Alex, the owner, said, you gotta make this one in chrome as well. So we're either gonna, just rebuild the whole new sign and bring it out here and take this one off and put this one in. Maybe he'll put that in his lobby or something. I don't know what he's gonna do with it. So that's where we're gonna put that first sign that we're in the shop building right now, is going, I don't know, 50 feet, 60 feet up in the air there on the side of that building. We're gonna paint the metal of the letters the same color as the building, so the only thing you'll see from the ground is the white faces, the acrylic faces. you guys hear it all the time, but man, that was a good looking sign. If you guys want any more information on this beautiful Ette Hotel, please check out the link below. And don't forget, we still have to put that exact same size sign on these two crazy frames here. Then we're gonna go out to that Ette Hotel and lift them up and put them 120 feet in the air on the roof of that building in the next episode. So make sure you stay around for that. Thank you guys for watching the Media One Wrap This YouTube channel. And please, if you have any comments or any questions, put them in the comments below. We'd sure love to hear from you.